Hey guys, welcome everyone. I'm just about to be joined by a good friend of mine, Francesca. We're going to do a very powerful, have a very powerful conversation online. We're having a bit of technical difficulties getting ourselves together, so if I do have to delete this and basically start again, I'm fine to do that. But we are absolutely super blessed to be able to have this conversation. The day that I've had is second to none. Corey, what's up, brother? Welcome. This is going to be super crazy, guys. Like, I hope you guys really enjoy this. Hey, Jody, what's going on? We're just waiting for Francesca to come on. If you guys don't know who this woman is, she's a friend of mine. She's a client of mine. I'll give her a really proper introduction. But she's a very strong spiritual soul, and we've become friends through, working together through numerology. So I taught her what I knew, and she's already very in tune, in line with a lot of things. So we're hoping that this is going to work. Hey, Nancy, and I can download with you guys. But crazy, it's been like half an hour. We've been trying for about half an hour to get our, our energy started. And it's crazy to think that, you expect technology to just like quickly work for you. We expect it to just, let me see, hop on. I'm online now, and so yeah, we're gonna attempt here for like the 15th time. And like I used to do tech support. Okay, so before social media and like numerology, and oh my god, Bobby, you're crazy. I used to do tech support for people inside of an internet company. So I'm very patient with this kind of stuff, and I'm like, I think I tried to bite off a bit more than I could chew. So we're gonna wait for Francesca to join. Absolute unbelievable spiritual conduit, guys. The day that I've had today, what I just about got killed. Okay, I just about got run over by a car, and then I had a very spiritual conversation with a very like small person, like two and a half. I didn't even talk to her, and I basically had to explain to her parents what was going on. And I feel like I did some pretty powerful work. I feel like we got a chance to actually do some serious healing. And then right after, I'm meeting with Francesca to have a go live so that we can explore some of these massive levels of gifts that this woman's got. So what's up? Francesca's here live now. Let's add you. Let's see if this works. I have been trying to do this for a while now. This is the gut checkpoint. Let's see if we got can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh my gosh, and I can hear you just fine. Great. So we removed all of the
Great.
devices. We're just using headphones. Sound's coming in clean. I don't hear myself. I only hear you. Are you ready to do this?
Oh, I think so.
Oh, it's interesting because people get frustrated when things don't work, and her and I are models of spiritual behavior here. So okay, we're past that human stuff. We don't have these human expectations, but there is that feeling of like thinking, we need to get this message out. It's a lot of spiritual energy that's happening, and it's absolutely crazy to think I survived the day I had, that you've been having the couple last days you've had. So now that we're working and we're live here, I want to properly introduce my friend Francesca. This woman here has become like a mother from another mother. Okay, like this is basically like when we met, I got a chance to see your little son, and this guy's a genius. And to look at your chart, I do your numerology. You have a very strong spiritual backbone in you, and you're using it. You're like, I'm not gonna tell people what your title is or what your profession is. I'd like you to tell them, but the one thing that I really wanted to recognize was that we had to have when we were talking last week, we had the most massive conversation, and I'm like, we need to do this online. And then things just kept on getting more and more massive, spiritually massive for ourselves, for others.
Mm.
We're all going through this together. So Francesca, how are you? I'm so blessed to have you here, for doing this with me. Can you tell me a little bit about like who you are? Like, first of all, how are you? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really great. A little bit hot at the moment from this challenge about getting online, but I thought to myself, oh, it must have to be a particular time. I don't know. But now the connector to my phone I couldn't find, which I've found now, was actually with a group of crystals. So I've brought them out to be with us. There's one in particular that's quite special. So I thought, oh, this one wanted to be present with us.
Oh man.
So there you
I'm not sure
go.
if anybody heard that, but right when you said that, my messenger went off with a beep, and that's like a spiritual message for me to be like,
That,
wait a second. So
yep.
your connector was crystallizing for God knows how long. It was basically getting ready for a divine connection, and it was so crazy how this whole thing plugs in, and I'm just sitting here like, yoga. Did anyone else just see that? Like, this is going to be a fun time. So, can for the people like this is so cool.
It
I'm
is
gonna
really
try to keep
cool.
up with comments, but I doubt that I'm gonna be able to. Okay, so hang in. If you're watching this on the replay, I hope you grab some popcorn for this. This is your Netflix for tonight. You guys are gonna enjoy this, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. This needs to be shown to people, and I have so much to talk to you about. So can we start at the beginning here? Like, who are you? What are you doing here? What do you do for people, or what do you do?
So what I do for people is really help to shift them out of old states of belief and this old paradigm that we're actually shifting out of. So it's what I do day to day with people about cancelling ancestral belief systems, patterns, conditionings. So conditionings being their own or what they've actually inherited and adopted. So that's just a way to work with people mainstream. Um, However, my gift, which I kind of shut down or toned down for a very long time, was getting channelings directly from the universe and from the earth. So when I landed on the planet, it really took me, I think I was nearly 8 when I got my divine message of why I was here, because I didn't want to stay here. So one night I went out and sat on the grass and looked up at the stars and decided that was when I was going to communicate with the universe and with my cosmic family, because I never had any doubt in my mind that I was, came from the stars. Like that was never, and I just presumed everybody believed the same thing. Everyone felt the same thing. To me, it was like, that's a given. So my choice of going out at night when everyone was asleep was, I guess, my understanding of, well, my light's still on because I'm awake. So I'll go out and talk to them so they can hear me, and the channel is direct. So anyway, that's really what started me on my mission and purpose, and that has driven and inspired my whole life.
So
That's been
you're
the
talking about like the
foundation
age of
for my
8.
life.
This
Yeah,
was an experience you had at 8 years old.
yeah. So I have now gone into regression to look at what occurred in that, what to me was a momentary thing. So I won't talk too much about that, but I guess the mission statement that was brought to my attention was that I couldn't actually leave the planet until I fulfilled what I came for. And they were very clear in saying that I agreed to come here.
Mhm.
And it was to assist to shift the vibration of the planet. So at that stage, I didn't really care about humans. I thought, okay, I've just got to help the planet. But how do I do that? So my question to them was, well, okay, so how do I do that? Like, a child just thinks, okay, what's the next step? It doesn't kind of go into anything except, well, if that's how it is, that's how it is. Okay, let's get it over and done with. And they said to me that I would actually be called into it from the age of 50. So then I go, oh, I have to wait till I turn 50. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I said, okay, can I just come back then? Like, do I have to stay? Can I just come back when the body is 50?
No.
I know, it's crazy. So I go, and they go, no. And then they said to me, who would you stay for? So I looked at like all the members of my family, and there was one particular one that I completely loved so unconditionally. He was, I guess, my hero, which was my grandfather. And he actually energetically just stepped forward in that, space. And I thought, oh no, I'll stay for you.
Oh.
So anyway, so then it was just really about living life. And of course, it's not just living life, because the divine channeling, the channel never closes, even though I tried to close it at various times. But it's been a really interesting journey, because within 6 months, we then moved from the island that I was born to Australia. And when I got off the plane, I actually passed out and fell head full frontal onto the ground. And my consciousness went straight into the earth and connected with the earth. And at that stage, I was 8 years old, didn't speak the language, nothing. It was for me, the language of consciousness is my first language. And then it's like converting everything into human language. So I now understand why I used to find it so difficult in the classroom to learn, because I would have to go vibrationary. I understand that. And when you learn that, that language is innate, well, it's innate within all of us. All the perspectives sit in that. All the layers, all the gradients of understandings all sit there, and you kind of just pick out the one that is relevant to the situation and the people that you're in, so that you're speaking with them exactly where you meet them. So it's been really interesting to actually learn who I am outside of all the conditionings that we have around us.
It's so interesting, because like right before I was talking to you, I was talking to someone of this caliber. I'm starting to meet some spiritually potent souls that are coming through, and as the saying was, like it was a small child, and I'm looking at these numbers, being like stunned, being like I'm looking into the lens of the universe, and I'm like I gotta go and talk to Francesca now. I gotta do a go live. And it was a potent level of information of godlike power. And I'm like, this is going to be a profound experience, because, the things you're saying are like spooky understanding to where, because first of all, you hit it for 50 years. You weren't ready for it. It wasn't something, until you were 50. It wasn't something that you were going to access for a while. You had a disassociation from your physical self. And when we look at strong numbers as a child, the child body is going to think, this is too much, I can't handle this. Or the spiritual body is just going to be like so encased inside of this tiny little energy that it's the most difficult part to be alive. And to think that you have this very mystic sort of vision, I would say premonition, this guided message at such a young age, I'm like, that's like some serious stuff. And to think that and even we were talking a second ago, you were like, oh, it feels like I've been under an invisibility cloak this entire time, and now it's coming back forth. And I'm just thinking here, like, this message needs to be shared. And it all sort of zoomed in. And even earlier today, I had 2 sessions that were spiritually potent. It was kind of like the air was pumping into me. And I'm like, okay, I get it. There's a spiritual energy today. And then you came into the message. I'm like, that's tonight. Okay. Then I got a chance to read this 2-year-old sent from another planet. And then now you're divining this light energy on me. It really makes me feel very peculiar about this environment that we're in. And I can only imagine so many people are going to be like, dude, I've got goosebumps. This is crazy. There's a powerful energy behind this. And even it stalled our connection point by like half an hour. And that was like a bringing up of all of this anxiety energy. And I'm like, I know what to do with this. Like, I just hope that you're feeling okay, because you're like, I was getting hot. We're going to get this done. I couldn't find it. And then it's that cosmic humor to be like, it was with my crystals. No big deal. They were playing a funny joke on me. Oh, got it. Okay. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Let's just make this less complicated and not use like a bunch of different devices. And so crazy. So crazy. So this was like and for anybody who kind of knows me, I like to get into the spiritual energy of things. And when we connected, I felt like we're amplifying our light together. So by hosting this for you, you're like, oh man, I'm nervous, but I'm going to do this anyway. And I'm giving you a safe place to sort of unload your energy, because I know it needs to be seen. You used words like Palladian. Can we get into that? Can we talk about
Sure.
like in that direction, or is that a little bit of a need to know basis?
No, I'm fine to talk about anything, actually. This will be the first time that I've actually spoken publicly in the way that I am. And I'm okay with that, because it is who I am. And I think I'm finally accepting that it's okay for me to actually share that.
Can
And
I just say that I changed your name around and I helped you find the right name, and I showed you this because I didn't this is news to me. I didn't know that this is the first time you're speaking about this publicly. I'm like, aren't you like a spiritual guru of like a divine proportion? Like, I know Francesca is going to be a spiritual conduit. Like, I'm looking at your chart, and then your life path 9 is a cosmic being. So I would just assume, but then I look at Francesca Fonti, I'm like, grounded to the earth, like literally like laying on the ground. Like when you're like, nope, full frontal, it actually happened. I'm like, you're
yeah.
not kidding. Francesca Fonti was the spiritual reference of that. And now you're going by Francesca Immaculate Fonti, and this is taking you to a new level as well, right? Let's just make sure I have it. Yeah, is that the vibration we're going with right now?
When we spoke last week, it was Francesca with the extra S, Immaculate
Okay,
Fonti.
cool. Yeah, so you've been moving your vibrations around. And so I want
have.
to, if this is your premier time that we're talking about this, I'd love for you to, because when you said this, I was like, this is a cosmic wisdom that's about to come through. And I know it can sound weird to people. It sounds weird to me too, but there's something deep inside of my universal core that's like, she's not kidding around. Like, and I'm like,
No.
people need to see this. So I just want to, I don't want to dumb this down. I really want to make everybody understand how absolutely spiritually and sacredly important that I feel this is. So please, can you like run us through what this whole thing entails?
As in the Palladian light work, or
I think what we need to do is your connection to it, and for those of people who are like, what's Palladian and what's Palladian light work? Can you give us like a quick little introduction and then speak
sure,
to us about the your connection to
how
this?
I came to it? Yeah.
Not
So
even how you
Palladian.
came to it, but like what actually you are.
Hmm. Well, Palladian lightwork is a lightwork technology. It was available on the planet back in ancient times, in Atlantean times. So, and it was taught to the ancient Egyptians. So, not what we perceive as the ancient Egyptians. The the Egyptian culture, from my learnings and my the clearings and healings that I've done, where I've been taken to the planet that they originated from in consciousness. They showed me when they first came and how they mapped where they came from through those pyramids. So the pyramids actually represent like a blueprint of where they came in the cosmos. So that the different, and so it was different races that came. And so that's why we have the pyramidal structures all around the world that have been uncovered and are yet to be discovered. It's a blueprint of where they've come from. And it was also a communication and teleportation. Bobby, I'm going to say some things that I haven't heard before because it's coming through. So some of the things that might come out will be new to me as well. So this particular person that showed it to me for the first time, because there's a big question on our planet about how on earth were they really constructed? The closest thing that we have now available to us to understand is that 3D printing. It's almost like the blueprints came down, but once they became part of this world and the makeup of this world, they densified to what was part of our world. Just like our body, when they first came, they couldn't actually live in our environment. They had to create an environment here until eventually that their cells changed and they were able to adopt to being able to live. So it has, I look at my body and I go, my body's made of the same environment as the planet. So my form at the moment, where my consciousness is right now that I'm speaking to you, I have a form and it's made of the same as our planet, right? So we can actually live here. Otherwise, how would we survive, right? So anyway, so Palladian lightwork was available way back then. It's a very ancient technology. It's very high frequency, and it is about shifting the vibration of consciousness into a higher frequency, into a higher conscious. And when I say that, it's really about opening up our consciousness and awareness to our connectivity to everything. Everything. Even if it looks like it has no life, it has life. There's a life frequency that runs through everything. It's just vibrating at a different level, different pace. So so as I grew up, even though I tried to shut it down, I was very interested in it up until 15, 16. I tried to find out a lot more. I tried to find a teacher and a mentor, and I didn't really have any luck. No one could really relate to what my experience is. So my experience of actually coming from, let's say, another planet, let's just, for argument's sake, was very real. And I kept waiting for it to be public knowledge. And of course, it never happened. I felt like between the 60s and 70s, it came really close for that public disclosure. But then I felt the veil drop down really strongly, and everyone going into that, oh no, you know what? No, we're all alone, all of that. And when they showed the difficulties and complications about, you know, going to the moon and all of that, to me, that was like really archaic technology. Mm-hmm. It was like, wow, we're just making everything so hard. It's not that hard. There's a different way. There's a different approach. But anyway, so my interest peaked at a particular age, and then I started to get ridiculed by people. They didn't understand. The usual comments everyone says, you're weird, you're strange, all of that. So I shut it down, but it never shut off. So I used to have the most amazing paranormal experiences with otherworldly energies or beings or people that had passed on. So that was always there. It was just that I kept refusing to connect and communicate with it, but it kept communicating with me. Once I cleared my fear around communicating with otherworldly beings, it did become a lot easier. And, you know, I got married, I had children, I was very involved with being a mum. I loved being a mum. It's also a very highly sensitive time when you're just a new mum, like, because everything opens up. So, and the connection between mother and child. So the senses were already refining themselves. So nothing ever goes astray in life. Like, there's learning in everything. Then, you know, I got to a stage where I felt that the environment I was in was not really supporting my mission. So when my husband and I went separate ways, and a few things happened leading up to that spiritually. My former husband's father passed away, and I was told that I was going to be a big part of his transitioning. So all of a sudden, you know, different people came across my path to make me feel comfortable about what I needed to do. And when it actually happened, it was just like nothing I thought it was going to be. That alone sent me on a path of, you know, going to the ends of the earth to find meaning to what happened to me and what happened to him. So along the way, I've had situations and experiences that have just kept me moving forward. And then I remembered the message about when I was going to turn 50, then I was really going to be called. So for about 7 years, I started to do a little bit of personal development, spiritual growth. You know, I wanted to meet a lot of people that were interested in actually shifting their consciousness, understanding that, you know, we can actually change this. And if we're going to change anything on the planet, it has to be through us. No one's going to come in and change anything. We're creating the change. We are the change makers. And then at 52, I was involved in an accident. I wasn't driving. And in that moment, there was a moment where I died. So I had this experience of, they say near-death experience, but I kind of call it post-death because I didn't want to go. And I kept getting told that it was my time to go. Anyway, so there's quite a bit that happened in that I'm still unraveling now, 7 years later. But that was really the turning point in my life, because I could know after that I couldn't go back to my previous life. I actually was very seriously injured, and no broken bones, but severe tissue damage throughout my whole body. The car seat broke. It was really very serious. Took me 3 years to actually be able to stand for longer than 20 minutes.
Wow.
So it was a very serious injury, physically and spiritually. And then I had to change how I worked. I could no longer work the way I was working. I had already met and made good friends with someone who was doing Palladian light work. In 2012, in May, I was very called to go to Uluru with this friend, and actually there was 11 other Palladian light work healers and teachers, and I'd had, I think, 2 sessions, and the energy came in very, very strong. So I was invited to go, and I connected to the chakra of within Uluru and realized I'd been there before. So in the span of time, I'd started to have memory recollections of other times I've been on the planet and other planetary existences, and part of I know it sounds a bit much, doesn't it? But
I can only imagine that feeling, to think like, and the thoughts must just go crazy. I mean, I have to understand this as a reality. To think like I because of the skeptical mind, it's entertaining to think what someone would think if they weren't open to this idea, and I can imagine why you probably want to hide from that, or even not show up with that. Like, this is the stuff, and even Justine saying, nobody wants to talk about this. Nobody wants to listen around people around me. And that feeling is to think that like we've uncovered something. And I don't mean to interrupt you, but there's a power that you have, and I guess it really begs the question. It's like, what are you? You know, like, how come? Because I guess because if I were to rationalize this, and I'm taking this to the numerology for a second, there's a higher level of consciousness. There's a higher level of vibration that comes down through a spiritual source or a spiritual understanding of being a human being, and must suffer or experience the human experience in order to really share your gifts with the world. And I'm like, well, you got a chance to be a mom, you got a chance to have a human life, but that third section of your life, it speaks to, and calling your birthday out, okay? Spiritual calm and cosmic travel. So a life path 9 is a humanitarian that goes the distance of the universe, and the 7 is a divine container. Now, your name, Francesca, also says this. But when we look at Francesca Fonti, it says, stay on the earth, be practical, and do the hardworking bee thing. Like, be a happy human being. And, like, I mean, you know, we've been playing around with your names, because then you also took on Immaculate. We did our session, you know, that's aside. But there's a version of you that's starting to awaken now, and especially since we were talking last week. And you're like, man, this feels like something's like supposed to happen. And it activated something in us, because then it inspired a collaboration. I'm going to talk to you in a little while. Then I'm like, no, we need to tell people about this. So yeah, I just wanted to offer a little bit of context and just let people know that you are a wizard, and your March birthday shows up as just a princess, nothing to see here. No, I'm not a wizard. Relax, okay? I just want some fun. And then quickly you become a boss. And then this is like that value that says, I've got to grow my ego. I've got to grow myself to this point now where you can be like, look, I've had past life memories of me being on another planet in another existence. I know on the human side it sounds funny, but it's true. And this is what you have to understand. And I'm like, I get you. No, I can only imagine how entertaining this must be for people. Because for me, I'm just like, I feel like I'm getting a soul lesson, like a history lesson of our spiritual nature. Like I feel like you're like inside of my life, there's pages that are blank that drive people crazy, and this is what we do in our human life. And then when we get a chance to talk to someone spiritual or connected or divining in a numerology or Palladian light work, it feels like we're really undusting some of the hidden stories that are actually there. We're giving the tools to actually read this weird language that we don't even recognize. So it's such a blessing to have you do this. It's absolutely nuts. I hope that you guys are finding massive values. Everybody watching this, just dump a bunch of hearts just to let me know that you guys have a pulse here, and just let us know that you guys are just like feeling this, because this is crazy. So okay, continue. You have a like,
Yep.
so what next?
So so what happened really grounded my connection with the Pleiades. I had I was really into astrology around the age of 16, 17, and the Pleiades was my connection. I always had this strong connection with them, but then I let it go and forgot about it until I think it was around 2007 where the spiritual stuff was really coming in like a storm, and I felt like I was being pulled through the hoops to learn very fast at a very accelerated pace. And so one night I just said to them, because I wasn't really coping like from a human perspective very well. So I said, okay, if you really want me to believe this stuff, because some of the stuff that was coming in was like, just like what you said. Yeah. And so I said, you've got to show me some signs. So I always ask for 3 signs when I need cosmic confirmation. And they delivered it to me, and they started playing around with words, which is something I really love to do now, is actually, get a word, break it up and see the true essence of the word for a particular person, not just the word itself. Anyway, so they did this, and I realized there was something really specific about where I was born and why I was born there. And, I was born on an island that is one of 7 volcanic islands. So the history behind that is ancient. It's just ancient. And and the islands are actually called the 7 Sisters of Fire.
Wow.
And of course, we know the Pleiades are called the 7 Sisters. So there was lots of correlations and, beautiful confirmations. And then I just have to go, well, I'll just have to, allow it to come through and evolve. And I needed really to allow myself to be taught internally through my intuition and trust it. So when I came, so after the accident, I had some Palladian lightwork sessions, and I really found that they were very effective in releasing trauma and pain, and also the other dimensional experiences that I had. And it helped me to understand the work a lot more, because I connected with frequencies that I could have only really connected through that experience. So it's come back onto the planet. The work I do was channeled by a lady called Amora Kuan Yin, which she's now left the planet. It's really great to have it back on the planet, because it works at a very deep level. It works with clearing your conditionings, our conditionings, future and past, ancestral, and other incarnations of the soul. So it works at a soul level. It doesn't work just at a personal level. And it's about really restoring balance. It's clearing all the karmic contracts we've carried through. So karmic contracts are lives that has been polarized in some aspect. Yeah. So just returning back to oneness.
I've worked with a lot of people over the last few months. I've gotten the soul session done, astrology done. I got my RMT done. I had my colonics done. I had another like past life regression. I had shamanic drumming done for me and shamanic chanting done. So a bunch of different things, all circling around this fact that I suffer from self abuse. And when I was a kid, it was really bad, and I used to get hit a lot, and I was living in a life of violence within myself, and even to the point where my self limiting beliefs were like defeating me. And this is one of the biggest things that I'm, you know, like getting more and more comfortable talking about, because I'm feeling like, hey, it's healed. And now because I know, because I can start talking about it. So the
Mm,
same thing of like coming through from the heart center, cleaning up the body, cleaning up the ancestral
mm.
line ego path. It now suddenly widens the vortex. You can really connect to who you are. So you mentioned this light work. Can I like, I just want to poke some holes in this, if you don't mind. There's
Sure.
going to be some skeptical people in here, and I want to ask you some of the tough questions. So you've been doing this professionally, like you charge people a session
Yes,
rate.
yes,
Okay, good. So
I do.
how do, so I'm going to work with you. Okay. Like I'm going to buy your product. How much do I pay to work with you?
It varies depending on how many sessions we package for you. So we would have a consultation session first, and then in that, I will say, well, to actually clear this up, you may need to have 3, 5. I might need to work with you for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. So it's actually, it depends on what you want,
Good.
and
Okay. That's a really good.
what you want might just be a lead into what your soul has really brought you to me for.
So there are certain circumstances where you just need to talk to someone once.
Oh no, I don't recommend that. But
Okay.
people do come just the once, and then it's still up to the person that comes. They may not be ready to actually deal with the stuff they have to clear, because there's still a big part in this world where people play their blame game, and so
Guilty.
it's not about the blame game anymore. It's
Well,
really
because I mean,
being
the
accountable. It's not like negative being accountable, but it's like, okay, like it's not just about being positive or negative. If you want to experience love, and this is what our planetary experience is about, we're experiencing love in all conditions. Love creates everything. Lights up love in us. And in love are all the conditional states of it. Nothing, I mean, that's the energy that creates, is love. You imagine what it's like to, create a baby, a child. It's got to be so infused with love. Well, we won't go to the other argument of that, but that's,
well, because I know, because
yeah.
I had just had my son 6 months ago, and like I poured every single piece of the universe I could into his name, because I knew this was gonna be a very powerful experience. It
Yeah,
just had to be
yeah.
there. And for me, I'm just like, okay, so I'm gonna work with you. But it was funny, I chuckled there. I'm like, I would, because as soon as I recognized what was going on, I'm like, well, no, I need you as like a lifelong friend of mine. Like I need to have you as, like, I already recognize you as one of the my spiritual mentors, and one of the people that are supposed to guide me inside of my life. Like you're opening up a very large door for me. And I mean, being like focus in on the numerology and the numbers, I get it. Like I can see this stuff. Like I understand what's going on. But to actually see what the channel is being messaged, okay, great. It's a spiritual satellite. So she's gonna get a divine message coming in from somewhere. Pay attention. Like no middle name. This is a God vibe that's just like, look, you're not a human being. So just you don't carry that soul karma past thing. You're just born in, and you're a master, and get and have the human experience quickly. But you're gonna get there. And you'll have to have the human experience first in order for you to acknowledge these gifts. So I'm like super blessed, because this is like your grand opening. But no, you've been doing this for a while. So how long has this been a business for you?
It started very slowly in 2004. No, hang on. Oh, sorry. Where am I? 2014, 15.
It's 2019. It's 2019.
Sorry, 4 years ago. I meant to say two.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Palladian light work started about 4 years ago. Prior to that, I was doing intuitive massage and channeling. But and it led me to past life regression, because as soon as I put my hands on the body, I would immediately see past life, scenes. And I'm going, oh, how am I going to relate this to this client? You know, she's just come in for a massage, or he's just come in for a massage. So that kind of led me to facilitating past life regression and unlearning how to be a shaman. So I had to actually unlearn that, because in the old days when we did shamanic clearing, we would actually be the channel. I didn't want to be that anymore. I wanted to work separate to my physical body. So I had to unlearn that innate instinct in me.
Yeah, that's the human experience. But it's such a blessing to see you grow and to see you do this and step into your power. Okay, so you're 5 years old. Let's say your business is getting there, and I'm going to tell you guys something here. Like, I'm working with people, okay, and and I would recommend people. This is a person who's taken my course. You've also learned numerology, the technology as the way that I've taught it. I've taught it to your son as well, and like your son even is a marvel of spiritual energy, and it was crazy. It turned Balaj's head. Like, that's got to be a wonderful feeling to think that, like, you know, he's got our attention. And for me, looking really deeply into this, I'm like, well, if you're a high level being, it's kind of like a lineage of like doing that again and again. Like, you speak of a cord, and you are a vine of that blossoms and blooms into spiritual consciousness for the planet. So it's a tough thing to do this. It's a channel. Like, if you look into the ocean, a channel is a connecting piece of water. If you look at a TV, it's a broadcasting message. If you look at it in the shape of a vine, it's like the truth of life that comes out to experience. And it's nice to have these fairy tales, these, you know, hearsay, she say, Palladian, Lemurian, Atlantean, all this stuff. Like it's fun to think that exists, but it's even more gratifying to know that there's a deeper truth to some of this stuff that you just can't quite put your finger on, and it just the mystery is alive, and it's a culture that's been preserved, which means to say that there's something in there that means, you know, like, and we're all in search for a deeper meaning. We're all searching for something bigger and deeper in life. But I know that you've got big things happening for you. Like, I mean, looking at this, I'm like, I was getting visions of us on stage, and like you, like, you know, like, I pay attention to this stuff. Like, someone's like, "Yo, Bobby," I'm like, "Oh yeah," and like, I daydream about this stuff, and it got me so excited, because you can obviously tell me, you were laughing at me like, "You should see the look at Bobby's face right now." I'm like, this is intense. This is nuts. Don't you see what's happening? Like, are you not listening to this? Like, it's just crazy. I'm like, yes, okay, great. So I look like I'm going nuts. Fine, I get it. But the reality is that I'm witnessing a very spiritual like thing that's happening here, and I know what I'm looking at. I'm a numerologist. I take very strong pride in what I do. I take very strong pride in the work and the help and the light that I bring to others. I'm here to do that, like my declaration. And to see someone here, I was like, we need to be friends for life. Like, this feeling of, I need to keep you around me, and I want to be around your vibration. So whether it be 6 months the last I talked to you and the time that we did share, it was just gradually getting more and more intense. And I think you are ready to really, like, it's almost like, you know, like the horse that's tied to a chair. And, you know, first of all, you're not really tied to the chair, and like, you could move if you needed to. But then if you've been that way for 50 years or whatever, that human life of just being like, waiting, because you knew that you could have super horse speed, and then you get it cut off, it can still be a little bit of time before you get back to the full speed, because you've just been used to being in a stationary field. So I know that you've activated, and I know that's a huge metaphor and analogy for a lot of people watching, to think that, hey, my gifts are ahead of me, or my vision is ahead of me. And now that you're speaking of purpose, makes me feel like, thank God we have you. I got ideas, and I need to talk to you about a few things. Okay, so people have approached me about doing spiritual broadcasts and actually having my own podcast, and I've accepted the offer. And so, you know, the reality is that they're asking me, do you know of people? I'm like, I just might know a few who may need to have a message that just needs to come out and needs people to hear it. And so there's one, okay. And then I also understood that you're going to teach me something very powerful in my life, and that was like a teaser from the bowl, okay. And I know that there's a powerful work that we're going to do together. So that's on the next level. I've absolutely shared my knowledge for you, and you were happily a customer of mine. So I'm absolutely going to recommend everybody watching this live or otherwise that you need to spend however much time this woman tells you to spend with her. You need to sit there and you actually need to experience what this is going to. You may not, if this isn't worth your money, then that's fine, and don't do anything with it. But I understand that this is a very strong message that you guys have a chance to divine into. And a lot of people have trusted me with their dollars, and they do again. And the reason why is because I'm not going to put my name on something that doesn't speak the vibration of what this thing is. And as wizards in 2019, currency is a level of current. That's an energy. So you're measured by your physically magical power, by how much magnetism you can create for the world. Some people take it outside of spirituality, and some people teach the teachers and heal the healers and light the light workers. Okay, so this is when I'm like, what are you really though? Because you could just be having a soulful experience. Like, no, I'm kind of like a guide, like I'm like the street light here that makes sure people know there's a civilization here and that you can see in the darkness with this stuff. So I recognize you absolutely, and I feel like even me, I get a chance to channel into this, and like so super blessed to have you. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. Maybe people have some questions. If you guys do, you connected with my soul and called me. I just started crying with all the emotions. So I feel I need to connect with you. Please message this woman and just let her know that you're gonna do this, and like you need to talk to her, because we are emotional human beings. We're made of water, and water holds memory of the DNA of where it came from before, and there's a soul history of the planet, and oh my God, would be nice to clear it from some sunshine. Anyone else feel good when they walk into the beach and they're just like, oh, this was great? And so you're bringing that spiritual light for people, and I'm so freaking blessed that we got a chance to do this. And it was funny because the connection wasn't starting, and I'm like, we're gonna figure this out, and don't worry, we're like going live, and it doesn't work, and oh man, it was so much fun to get this up. But so where do we go from here? We need to. You're raising the consciousness of the planet. Okay, you're definitely a teacher. You've absolutely run into business. There's opportunities for you to grow your business. We're working on those already. But this is your stage now. So is there an introduction? Is there a certain way that you would do this? For the first time someone's hearing this, like, can you enlighten us a little bit for the people who are going to be following your journey from now on?
I did ask that question as well. I asked my soul, or what do you want me to do? Okay, I get it. You've given me some kind of structure now to work within, and which is Palladian light work. However, within Palladian light work, I do my own light work and alchemy work, and that isn't something I can actually explain. It was something that was taught or awakened in me after the accident, that to restore my body. And so I use that with clients when I see them, whether they're one-on-one or through Zoom. I still do that alchemizing of energies, what they required. There was at one time, it came very clear that I'm actually here to work with teachers, to work with practitioners, to work with masters, to work with people that are all, yeah, exactly. And so last week, before you and I connected, I was sitting outside doing my morning routine, which I always end up doing channeling anyway. And they said to me to start a series of podcasts. And I thought, oh, that'd be really cool. I could do that. That's fine. I'll start to find out some information about it. Then once you and I connected, we were disconnecting, they said to me that that you and I should do a series. So, and be really specific with the series. And I know we talked about currency last week, which was brilliant. And there's more that's come in around currency and the shift in currency, the change in currency. Currency equals consciousness, equals vibration. So it's all so interconnected. So I'm really looking forward to exploring that and diving more deeply into that with you.
Absolutely.
But with people, really, they would need to just connect with me and tell me a little bit of what they expect. And I do listen to them and pay attention. But I do say, well, that's really great. So some people come to me with a list and I go, really? In an hour, you want me to cover all of that? But you know what? Soul has got that. So we might need to clear one or two things at the call, that when you bring it forward from the core or the essence that's playing out or showing up in so many different aspects of their life. And really, when we're working at that core level, there's only a couple of things that then go out to create. And self-worth is a really big one.
That's mine. The self-worth thing is mine. That's the problem that I have, is that I'm awakening to this power now. I'm gladly I'm doing it at my age, but this is part of the reason why I'm hypnotized by the light that you're dividing onto me, because I can feel like it leaving my brain. Like you can feel it just shining on me so hard that like literally the back of my head is just like, it's like melting away, and I'm like being healed by the spiritual light. So I know for sure. Because like because you know when that happens and the sludge comes clear, your vision, my third eye gets open, and I'm like trying to listen to what you're saying, but I can't help but feel that like I'm putting together a superhero list of speakers that we're going to tour on a live show, and we're actually going to go and see people and like do like a moving retreat or a moving 2-day event or something called like the Soul Series or something, because you're not the first person.
Sounds fantastic.
And now it's starting to get serious because people are like, yo, let's collabo. I know like Craig and I are doing something. Ma and I are doing something. You and I are now doing something. And I'm like, I can't split up over everyone. We have to, the only way this is going to work is if we're all there as a group of masters, like, you know, like striking the hammer down the very first time to make this all happen. So I'm declaring it right now, and people who are watching this live or recorded, your awareness alone is magnetizing this idea. Your law of attraction is helping me weave this in. So, you're helping me manifest it. And I have been for a while, and I know I've been speaking about it. So if you need to be on that stage, you know who you are. I know Craig's going to be there. I know you're going to be there. I know I'm going to be there. I know my wife is going to be there. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to be on that, in that platform with us. And it's crazy because I'm watching the Marvel Cinematic Universe again. Like I'm going back to the beginning, Iron Man 1, and I'm watching the whole series because I'm a junkie for Marvel, and then realizing in my life, this is what's happening right now. We've all had our own separate movies, and now we're coming together as a band of superheroes. And I can't help but feel like I'm Nick Fury in this. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm Iron Man, man. I'm Bobby. That's Robert Downey. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Bobby Jr. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let's put this on. Let's put this armor on. Let's get better every single day. Through every single battle, we absolutely upgrade. And the thing, you got ripped open physically so that you could let this in. Like this is a spiritual catalyst that you had to drive through. You even had an option. They're like, it's time to go. And they're watching you to see if you're good. You're like, I ain't good yet. You told me when I was 8 I had to do this. Like this is not how it's going down.
I'm
going back in there.
This definitely is it. Something's happened in the last month, and it's like, this is it. And
what? Tell me, because I mean,
this
I have
is it. I don't know. It's you know, we spoke about last week breaking through that shell. So that shell, people can relate to the shell as being that matrix, but we created the matrix. Now we have to break through it. So I don't have this understanding that there's this us and them. If there's if people relate to something evil, you know, we've all had to be that. You know, that book Conversations with God really shows it so beautifully and innocently, where we can come and be that for another, to be in complete service to that growth and development.
Conversations with God, you say?
Yeah.
Okay. And
Neil Donald
what's your
Walsh.
book called? What's your book called?
My book. It's coming. It's coming.
Okay.
It's coming.
To be titled. So people have said this to me before, but I haven't actually gotten the book yet. So I'm glad I'm writing this down now. Sally, make a mental note. We're gonna order this book. But yes, okay. So we've arrived.
Do you know there's an excerpt from Conversations with God it's a children's book, and it's the little soul and the sun. And when I was doing intuitive massage, I used to buy that book and give it to my adult clients so that they could actually have a very different perspective and reference point to creation, and move their reference point of themselves from the external to the internal, and start to create and see life from being from the heart out, rather than the mind where it's looking around all around you. And the mind can create so much clutter, as we know, but you know, you come back to the heart and it's really simple. The simplicity of connection and love just is beautiful, and
Very
so
profound.
yeah, so inclusive. And I remember one time I had this experience through a meditation, and in the meditation we were being given a set of wings. That was the point of this meditation, and I really loved doing those meditations because I used to get these big beautiful angel wings, you know. And in this particular one, I got small wings, and I thought, what's this all about? And then all of a sudden it was like the earth just grabbed me and took me right through the evolution of when there was just dirt, you know, the crystal worlds. We were so in that meditation, the understanding that I received was that our consciousness has actually been part of creating every single particle that is part of this planet. So we were part of the crystal world. Our essence has actually experienced the crystal cities, and the plant life, like the flowers, the butterflies. It was actually, that's what I was given, butterfly wings. And then it was like, oh wow, part of the mineral kingdom, part of the Devic kingdom. It was just so beautiful. And I thought, wow, I couldn't make that up if I tried. You know, it was like that's just blew me away. And what blew me away was the beauty and the radiance, and it was just the joy of being part of that creation. And I know that our consciousness doesn't need to spend as long linear, as in linear time, in the different parts of what makes our world. And perhaps it's possible that human consciousness is actually our longest lifespan, that we, because human consciousness embodies so much more than the Devic kingdom. And we're a memory storehouse. Our body is 75 trillion cells. Imagine 75 trillion cells as 75 trillion selves, or lives, or experiences of the soul. It's just amazing. We're powerhouses. We are literally powerhouses. Each cell has a heartbeat.
Oh man,
It's so cool.
so
It's
intense.
so
This is
cool.
too intense. This is too intense. I can
Shall we
only
wrap it up
imagine some
then?
people are just like, can you feel that magnetic pull inside of your soul? That's like you're going through a time machine right now, guys. Like if you're
Yeah.
watching this, I don't know if you're feeling it the way that maybe her and I are just crazy because we're spiritual people, and but this is like a nirvanic enlightenment, and to know that this is there and that you're stepping into your power, I'm very absolutely grateful that you know, you're not hiding anymore, and that you're absolutely going to do this. You know, you've been called out. So if I have my event and you're not there and you're not on stage, I'm going to be like, Francesca, what's up? What's going
Oh,
on?
it's going to happen. I'm so grateful that I met you, Bobby, and it was so weird how I ended up at that event. Like I literally got on the plane, and I've done this before, you know, several times, and it's never really been about what I was going to learn, but the people I was going to meet. And when you went up on stage, I just thought, oh my God, there's a soul brother. And I mentioned it to you, like I never ever would stand up and, like, you know, talk to any of the speakers, and it was like my spirit just pushed my bum off the chair to connect with you, and then come to the back of the room because I really needed to meet you. And then I couldn't string two words together. But yeah, so they've been working on us for a little while.
And you know, the funny
So
thing is that like I believe that you know, I'm born in '84. Okay, so there's like a I'm not gonna say how many differences there are in the generation, but as a wise, as a wisdom, as a master, as a teacher, as a guide, you know, you're shining the light for me through the work that I do. It's like no joke, guys. This is not a game. When I do what I do, I'm looking
mm,
into the algorithm of your vibration, like literally like measuring the shape of your crystal. Okay. Like it's crazy to think that we get a chance to see this. I'm looking at your chart, being like, yeah, see there's that, and that's where the part where she was talking about super there, and then the entry point shows right there, and I'm looking at this like this is like a roadmap to who you are, and it's just so nuts. So I saw this the first time, I'm like, you're not normal. You're not a regular human being. There's something different about you. And now I'm getting the full story, like full on myself. And this is the first time that I'm hearing this level of depth. I just knew, I'm like, I gotta hear this. This is something that's like, oh, we're gonna do this, right? And so we've sparked the match. We've lit the fire. The flame is on. Please, guys. I mean, I'm not gonna. I'm not rushing us off either. Like, I want to hear more. I want to know. But I know some people can't listen for 90 minutes or even longer. But this is too big of a thing to pass up, and I just want to make sure I know where am I. So what it's for me, it's the 22nd. For you, it's the 23rd, and I'm
yeah.
looking at day for conversation, and you're looking at a day for foundation. So we see a really strong vibe here. Let me just quickly do this. 584, um, 5 plus. Let me, Sally, if you can help me with this real quick. But for me, I'm looking at a 4 day and you're looking at a 5 day. That makes sense. Okay, cool. So there you go. Thanks, Ali. So
That
basically,
makes sense for me because I'm in a 5 year. Yeah.
so yeah, well, it's a 5 day for you. And the
Yeah.
total day right now is to speak of a foundation. So you're in the future right now. You're one day in the future. You're laying the groundwork for something really big. And I'm like giving the performance of my life here. Like this for me is like one of the most activated, energized, and like I have been having the craziest conversations with people. I'm getting a podcast, guys. I'm going to be on spiritual elevated radio. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right yet, but there's a relationship building around spiritual consciousness, and we are so blessed to be around this that I'm very blessed to be able to do this with you. So okay, you're gonna help people. What happens when like people are hiring you? You've already been in business. So someone's gonna clear some of their emotional drama or their spiritual baggage or the stuff that's happened in their past life. So what, we feel better after, we can go after our goals, we can manifest things. Like what's the
So so there's 3 different areas I work in. I work in with people at a personal level. I work with businesses, and I also work with land. So I have done clearings on land which have been probably the best learning experiences for me, and I'm very grateful for the people that hired me to do that. With businesses, when things aren't going too well, there's business partners, they're not, there's no congruency. Sometimes it might be because of the building that they're in. So look at all of that. And at a personal level, mainly people come when relationships aren't quite, because it's always got to be an external factor. Well, no, it doesn't always, but it's generally recognized that there's something not quite right in their relationship, or they've already started to see how cycles repeat themselves. So it could be about money. So what we do is actually clear those beliefs and conditionings, and then you can consciously make your choice. So rather than being driven by your subconscious, by patterns that are sitting in your unconscious and have become like transparent. So we clear
I
those.
just want to
It's
say, I just want to quickly say before I let you continue. Yes, Sally, I will. I know she's like, see, you have to talk to her. You should talk to her. So I'm appreciating that, and I'm just calling her out there because I can see if she's watching. And so continue. Okay, so you help people to clear the difference.
to actually clear what is limiting them in their lives. So normally we're unconscious, or we have a level of consciousness about it, but we don't actually know where it's rooted, where the core of it is. So I actually go back to where it first began. Whatever generation, whatever lifespan, I'm not limited to whether it's this planet, another planet. I just go with where their soul takes me. So what they will see is they'll feel a lot lighter, like they've, you know, got rid of a big burden, baggage. But it is up to the individual to then also observe their behavior, because that's a really big part in not reprinting. And we don't just clear it from our DNA, we clear it from all of the subtle bodies, we clear it from the hologram. So the hologram is where the imprinting remains. So unless it's cleared from the hologram, it's quite likely that it'll reoccur in generations to come. So we want to clear that, because we want our children to actually be free of our conditionings. And there's also inherited contracts that get cleared, that for some, you know, and we have had some really amazing lives in the past. And you know, even if people don't believe in past lives, that's fine, because we all have ancestral lineages. And honestly, you're never going to be Bobby Pareha ever again. I'm never going to be Francesca Fonti ever again. You know, we have created a soul signature vibration right now in this life with all of our experiences. When we leave this body, we take all of that with us. And there's actually a level of physicality that goes with us. So there's an emotional intelligence that we are evolving through as a consciousness. So once you embody form, you can never unembody form. There's always going to be an evolutionary pathway in that evolves consciousness and soul and expands it. I can't delve too much into it. I feel like I will really just blow people away, but I'd love to have conversations with you around it and see where we can put it together in specific, in a series where it kind of really guides people to it.
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
absolutely.
So
because
yeah,
yours even saying
so
you have to work with you a couple of times, and like just to give people a quick context, what's blowing my mind: drug abuse, self-abuse, abuse of myself and others, having a negative self-worth system, growing up in a life of abuse in that situation of holding me back and shutting my voice down and you know, bullying me, got bullied in school and cheated on by my ex-girlfriends and socially twisted. This value shows up that humans deal with a human experience, and to actually get some of this stuff worked out for you from like the divine source itself, it's a massive blessing that you've grown into your wizard. And I believe a wizard now is the alchemist, where you take your word and you turn it into gold. And a conversation, a moment with you to actually have your energy like looking at this vibration and telling them what you can see is in fact actually what it's going to take in order for you to get to the next level in your life. Like, this is actual soul alchemy. Like, this is magic, what we're talking about. And this is a very deep level topic. And I know that a lot of people are going to get scared. You're like, man, I don't even, and that was that human form. You're like, I don't know if I can do this. I mean, we have to create a series around this, and there has to be like but just so you guys know what's involved, like what are you holding back from? Like, what have you been dealing with in your life? Like, what is it that you were taught, or the beliefs that you were impressioned to believe when you were young? You know, what's your spiritual soul purpose and destiny? And this is why I did what I do, because inside of numerology, I'm like, bring it. I absolutely want to bring it, make it tangible. What you're doing is like, it's not even tangible. It's like a spiritual thing. You're like, I just give people what they need. And I'm like, this sounds like Craig. Like, at least I have numbers. I'm like reading something like I can see. And with you, it's just this energy, feeling a magnet vibration inside your stomach that's like, yo, she's talking some serious truth right now. And like, you need to be paying attention to this. So if you're super skeptical, I'd love to hear, you know, Francesca, what you would say to someone who's like, why am I watching this? Because you guys are super weird. I don't understand any of this. Like, what are you doing? You know, and can you speak to them for like 2 minutes?
Sure. I just want to say thank you for to everyone that's watching. I can't see any comments on my phone at all, so thank you.
Okay,
everyone,
so quickly, I'll just run through
sharing.
bring on the deep level stuff. Love light working. I've just come into this live chat now, and I want this. Lots of love. There are people are tagging people. Yes, yes, yes. Perfect. Conversations with God. Great books. Superheroes. Love it. We had a massive 2:22. So it was a 2:22 that we experienced, like 2 p.m., 22 minutes. People are saying magic, loving this. Yeah, people are like, they can't really get much more than a word out. Great stuff. LOL. This is amazing. I love this topic. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we're kind of caught up, but you're not missing much. People are just like
Great.
enthralled right now. So continue.
Okay, so what was your question again?
I don't even remember. So what we're talking about, guys, is the fact that we're going to compartmentalize some of this information. And I know it's going to be part of a series. She's speaking about something very gigantic that needs to take place. This isn't just a one collaboration. This is something that I'm creating a house for. So I know that we're going to have a school of masters and a house of very spiritual energy underneath the platform in Nisha. You guys are all going to go off and do the amazing things in your world, but I need to coalesce. I need to congregate. I need my superheroes with me. So I need you guys, and I appreciate you guys so much for being here. All of my masters, my students, my teachers, you, Francesca. So you're an alchemist. So you're a wizard. You're actually someone who can help somebody get to a better place in their life. And you've been trusted with an ancient technology because of your soul lineage. I can see it directly there. You're a master of a hidden school, a hidden mystery knowledge. No wonder we're buddies, because me too. And we've been burned before, and we gotta hide, and we got the cloak on. Let's just like pay no attention to the man behind the mirror. Just relax. And what we will become is a powerful level of magic that's actually healing the consciousness. Now, I feel like when we were, because remember when at the event, they kept on showing this cone of like the different levels of consciousness, and from disparity all the way to enlightenment. And I think now that we're getting our heads above the water a little bit, there's like a global vibration that's raising in the planet. I'm not sure what it's called, but they measure the sound of the earth, and they give it a frequency, and it's naturally raising right now. So I know that our consciousness as a globe is raising, but I feel like we're in a fishbowl. I feel like we're being like a lot of this stuff is being held back. Like we were supposed to be in hiding for a while. You're talking about this big disclosure, like this is crazy. We're on the pioneering edge of this. So can we disclose anything else? Like, am I going to be wealthy? Am I gonna, I mean, I feel like asking the silly questions. Like I guess that's really the only thing that matters. Last I've gotten my dream family. I know that I've got my wealth coming. So really, I don't have any questions, but we're going to make it. I know people do. They
Absolutely.
Have weird questions
like this. I feel that what you said about we've been in hiding is actually, there's a truth to that. We've had to really guard and maintain our light until the frequency of the planet, like until there was this this balance and harmony where we now can come out and speak really clearly from the heart, from the soul, and people are ready. They're hungry to know more, to listen, to shift their currency. We're shifting our currency. That's what we're doing. And currency is everything. It's our vibration, our energy, our means of exchange. Like currency equals consciousness equals vibration. Activate, prosper, evolve.
Any comments, guys? Am I the only one? Can anyone else say something quickly and just like help me? Do we have any questions? Does anybody else want to put a word edgewise? I would love to get some reviews. Can we give? Francesca says she can't see the comments. So if you guys can, I would love to know, what are we feeling? How does this strike you? Is anyone else having like a heart attack and like a heartgasm at the same time, and just like expanding their level of consciousness like 1,000 times? Is it just me? But there's I think we found something. We struck a nerve, and like there's something that's awoken now, and we cannot ignore it anymore. Okay, there is a need for this, and I'm not afraid of this anymore. I even kind of like, I tread lightly when I talk about this, because I've got that human mind too that says, Bobby, you're an idiot. Stop it. And there's another part that's like, don't do that. Don't do that anymore. You're not an idiot anymore. Maybe you were at one moment, but that's not something you're growing into. Now you're growing into a person who's not an idiot, and you're actually going to do something powerful for this planet. So if you guys are feeling what I'm feeling, please drop a comment. Let us know. Marion says, I love seeing my soul sister shine. When Marion O'Mace. So,
hi, Marion.
It's funny because I look at some of these names and I'm like, I didn't name you. And I'm like, wait a second, Francesca, you put an O in her name, didn't you? and this vibration to think that, did you or
No,
no?
no. I think you might have spoken to Marion.
Okay, maybe it
No?
was me then. Sorry, Marion. I appreciate you. I'm sorry about that. But what I was alluding to was that I've taught Francesca numerology, and that you're learning modality after modality to piece and pieces together. And it's like Bruce Lee. This feeling of like you take what's useful, you adapt it, you discard what's not, you make it your own, and that's basically the feeling in this, right? Karen says the nerve is explode. I'm so into this. I want to soar. Rachel, you absolutely deserve to soar, and I know that like look at your name, like that's the name you're born with, and to think that you're moving into your vibration where this is the stuff that you need to be looking into now, and your new curriculum is open. A lot of people are getting these activations, and it just hit me. I'm like,
Yeah.
Bobby, you've been doing this. You're the one who's been setting everyone up for class. I'm like, I get it, I know, and I'm gonna come out with something very powerful that people are gonna want to be a part of. We're coming to your town. There's gonna be like a 4-city tour in Australia, like northwest, east, and south. And I'm gonna pull you guys up to Vancouver Island as well. We're gonna do one in the Philippines. So there is a group of events that's called at 6, and just leave it there for now. But there is going to be a movement around where I need you on a stage. I need you with people who need to hear this and see this, and people who are ready to activate, to teach the teachers, heal the healers. I know that we're going to do this, so I'm setting that intention in. I'm just kind of thinking out loud with the brainstorming, because I can see it, and I'm like trapped at this party. And I'm like, I look at Francesca, and she's just glowing. And she's like, we did it. I'm like, we did it. And this feeling is going to come from us. And I can feel it now, as if you've just been like, Bobby, just quickly look. And I'm like, and we fall back into our human beings, and we're back to 2019 thinking, holy smokes, like this is the moment it all began. And I'm so blessed for all of you guys. Like by like freckled chance, I met everyone that I have. And you being one of the most empowering people I've had in my life, for sure, just as an energy frequency. And it's not like you've even done
Thank
so
you.
much for me as more than just actually be there with me. And it's just knowing you that's been the powerful feeling. Rachel says, I'm a Reiki master, but I felt stuck. I need this. Your name is unsticking you. So you are now in the process of being unstuck. It took me a couple years to get unstuck. It took Francesca a near-death experience, like, years ago, to get unstuck. So it does happen that your body will get unstuck. And if you're meant here doing something powerful, nothing's going to stop you guys this time. Like I'm setting the code right now that this is a safe place to evolve our consciousness. Just like Francesca said, I'm backing her up on this, and we're speaking for light. And there's a bunch of people doing this. So I'm glad that you guys have woken up to your call. And maybe you're just enthralled by this, and you're just like, oh my God, this is amazing. I could never do this, but I need to be a part of this. There's a space for you guys. We're not just you don't just need to be this guru or this spiritual energy like one of the 7 sisters here. And like, you can absolutely still live your life by the light that we're going to create for you. Okay. Like I'm not going to force you all to take a mastery course of like, magnetic proportion. It's not for everyone. But I know that if you're here, this message is for you. If you're here, you're answering a call, whether it be helping your family or helping your light grow or helping other people, because a lot of us are in business. So let's just pull this down to earth for a second. A lot of us are not into this, like you're a one of a billion, trillion, you're a very unique force. So we have to recognize that, some people just need to go as far as making some money for their kids so they don't have to go to a job every day. Or maybe they're not going to raise their children wrong because they got abused like myself in my past life. I want to make sure that I'm going to do something powerful for my kids and not repeat the mistakes of my ancestors. Or even just living to our potential and getting out of obscurity where we're all being like, yeah, if they can do it, I can do it too.
Absolutely.
I'm going to heal, and I'm going to make this world a better place, because climate change, mass levels extinction, like unbelievable, undeniable levels of pollution, like this world is going completely upside down. And there is technologies that are going to save us, this being one of them, electricity being one of them. Like we are shifting. It feels almost like a bit embarrassing to think that we're not using the sun for, solar power the way that it should be used. So it's enough to power the entire planet. Instead, we're just burning the planet alive. We're smoking the planet. So there's a difference in what we're doing to the earth right now. And this is ushering in the arrow. This is the translation of what happens next. The pinnacle of technology is changing. And I know I'm stealing this from a movie somewhere where they were talking about how the arrow was the pinnacle of war when the Genghis Khan took it into, you know, China, or to beat them was like this next level advantage. And that's what we're doing with this light work. We're absolutely going to pierce the darkness where it shall not exist anymore. And I know I'm like going really super ancient and deep on you guys, but I have to clear the space because I know this is strange. For a lot of people, this is going to be very weird. And I think that I'm going to be the glue that kind of ties numerology. Like it's a spiritual gateway into like learning some tangible stuff in order to open you up to the vibration that you can sing at were you to speak at a higher level. So thank you so much. What else do we got? Anybody got any questions? Or do you have any, did that inspire you a little bit, Francesca? Do you want to expound on that for me?
Oh, absolutely. I think that I don't believe that what I do is airy-fairy at all. I actually feel really grounded. The fact that we have machines now that can actually gauge frequencies and vibration and energy. To me, that's real. That's the foundation of our planet, like everything. I mean, Tesla said it. Nikola Tesla said it. Everything is energy. If you actually learn to understand and open up that everything is energy, then it's just like tuning in. You know, that's all it is. It's just tuning in. We're born with our innate senses. It's just that when we come out into this world, we're so hit with the external senses that our inner senses, our innate sense, like our third eye, like our inner sight, our inner hearing, which is not the same as the external hearing, all those senses, we shut them down because we're so focused on developing our outer senses in order to communicate with this external world. So it's really bringing that back to what you're innately born with, and having this beautiful marriage between your inner and outer senses. And, you know, we know that we are, how we are reflects out into the world. So going back to, you know, that bread and butter, we live in this world. We do need to create money. We need to be living, you know, all of that. As we start to clear that poverty consciousness and mentality that has been in this paradigm for so long, where, you know, wealth is only available to the few. Well, that's just a conditioning. It's not true. As we clear that, we're not just clearing it from your consciousness, my consciousness, and we're clearing it from mass consciousness. And the more clearing that happens, the more involvement there is and participation, then consciousness, you know, it won't stay. If there's nothing to get stuck on, it just slides off. So that great big web out there, we're, you know, reprogramming that web of consciousness. Whenever we clear any contracts, belief systems, and patternings around that, you know, we don't deserve to be wealthy, well, why not? Wealth isn't just money. It's wealth of health and knowledge, family, creation, connectivity, relationships. It's just beautiful. It's such a beautiful, the numerology on wealth and wealthy, I love it. The numerology on abundance and prosperity, or being prosperous, is gorgeous. I just love these numbers. And we need to really embody them. Embody these vibrations. You know, wealthy, I broke up the word for someone one day because I had this thing around the word wealthy, and I go, oh, that's like we all heal together. Oh, I love that. We all heal together. Wow, why don't we want to be wealthy, don't we? It's so cool.
It's crazy because the parallels are nuts. Because for me, I'm thinking this all started because of my business 5 years ago, that I got involved in numerology, but it was because I got into a direct sales business and I was a spiritual guy, and then the crossroads came. And so I understood that this was supposed to be something I was supposed to do. But the reality is that you've got this idea that you're speaking about. And I keep thinking about how one person can now, instead of just finite pencil pointing into a 9-hour, 8-hour shift where they clock in, clock out, and they just be another cog in the wheel, we can unload. And now in that same time, we can experience our story broadcast it to others, and help our leaders become leaders. Because I'm not sure about you, but my audience is people who are inside of our business community. These are the
Mm.
people, that are invested in creating a wealth for themselves. And when you say this, it almost brings a level of altruism for what we're doing, to think we're not, this should be magnetically rewarded when you can actually start helping other people and help people like shift the consciousness. It's a leader who inspires many, instead of the one leader who's inspiring you, and you're kind of like in their hamster
Mm.
cage, creating a safe, powerful income, if it's powerful or not, but it's still the handcuffs that are tying your time. Well, we'd love to be living in a free utopian society, but that kind of takes a level of work, right?
Yeah, and but also be really grounded, because we talk about a utopian society. I used to get really ribbed on that years ago. They used to say, "Oh, your head is always in the clouds." These days, when people say that, I take that as a compliment, because I think, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's really great." Divine intelligence coming through, divine
So
channel.
I
Yeah,
want to. So people are asking us something here. Did
sure.
you want to say something, or can I read this comment before it gets
No,
before
go
it leaves
for
the
it.
window?
Yep.
So this person, Corey, or is it Chantel, says, "How do you start the process of expanding or getting unstuck?" And I'm like, you listen to this, you start having a conversation, you get a consultation with us. If you haven't had your numbers done, get it done. If you haven't had your Palladian light work done, you should go and get a spray on tan. It's like a Palladian tanning salon. You get the starlight that's gonna like illuminate you, and it's like realizing you're from Wakanda, and you're like you can actually go into this like secret world. So yes, how do you unstuck yourself? How do you start this process?
Um, how? First of all, you have to connect with me. So either personally or online through Zoom or Messenger, however the easiest. Because I do work with people from all over the world, and there's no problem. It's actually easier connecting online, because there's not the physical bodies that get in the way, and the
Yep,
communication that is. Yeah, you get it, don't you? Yeah, it's
I
so
love
cool.
it. I love it.
I love it. I
I'm
love it
like, let
too.
me work in Australia. Don't. I'm gonna do this in North America. It's a treat, but I'm glad it's not my everyday, because I feel like I'm too energetically sensitive for that. So yes,
Yeah.
that was an easy question though. Like, so how do you get unstuck? What do you do? Well, you reach out. You absolutely set something on the calendar and put your bag of coins on the table and say, look, I've worked hard for this. I would like to experience the magnetic gateway of what investing in myself can do. I promise you, it'll be the best money you ever spend. And cool. Okay, great. So then we have another one, and we'll keep going here. This one was, why do so many religious people treat numerology like voodoo? I don't know enough about it to understand why. I think because like the Bible says, don't touch it. It's because this is a very powerful technology, and like you don't touch things like this unless you know what you're doing. And it's a very sacred thing. You can do a lot of damage with this. So I would imagine why the Bible's like, hey, 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 wait. That's a social political control. Even the Bible is a story through history. So that's an opinion of some group of people who said, this is what you should be paying attention to. There are other holy texts that live by numerology, and they absolutely acknowledge it. So there are different cultures that say, no, that's taboo, and others are like, no, this is a cult, and others are saying, no, 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 it's fine. Just let the show go on, only for a sacred few. But did you want to tackle that question about why religion doesn't like this stuff?
Oh, yeah, sure. That was definitely one of the things I worked through when, as I got older, I couldn't understand why religion was like, do as I do, not as I say. No, so do as I say, not as I do. So for me, it was like, I was very clear when I was born, the difference between faith and religion. Like for me, that was very clear. When we came to Australia, it became even more clear, because um, at least on the island, we had this sort of small community, and our communication with our divine source, whatever you want to call that, um, was really pure. It was almost unadulterated, because we just lived, there. I think there was, maybe 2,000 people on the planet, on the island. So a very small community. So going back to what you were saying about numerology, or other areas like energy, like, communicating with angelic the angelic frequency or beings. One day, one of my friends said to me, you know, like I really like hearing you talk about all this stuff, and it's so real, but it's so against our religion. And I was born into Catholicism as well, so I had a big mission about wanting to understand where what I felt my true essence was, and where religion kind of would put me. And I realized that religion really boxes in what we call God or universal force. You can name it whatever you want, but it's a divine intelligence that is just so pure. The consciousness is so pure that even to call it a consciousness is already boxing it up. So I just go, well, that's so weird, because when even you go through the Bible, there's numbers everywhere, you know, it's just everywhere. So it really became a very politicized movement. So when it originally, I would imagine, started, when it first kind of started, and it was quite true to its essence. But then, you know, you get Constantine that got himself involved in it to politicize the movement because he saw the benefits for political power. So then, you know, the Catholic religion evolved into something, to a multi-denominational whatever. But there's, you know, like there's a whole, for me, the truth comes from within you. I don't know where it's written, but I think it's somewhere in the Bible where God says, and I know this is just an interpretation, that no longer would he destroy the world by fire, that he would put the rainbow in the sky. So when people looked at the rainbow, they would have this memory that, you know, that's a representation of God. He would never, it was after the flood or something, which actually there's historical fact around that flood that we hear about in the Bible. But then after that, there's somewhere, I don't know where, but it's stuck in my mind where I heard it was, from now on, I will place the seed within man to know that I am God. Like that there is that divine seed within man, that divine knowing. So the imprinting is within us, that we are of the divine creator. We are divine creators. Now, you, me, as individuals, are aspects of that creator. So we exist within the creator. The creator cannot be the creator without all of us. You know, we are part of the same force. We're a fragment, a spark. You know, when I do the soul healing work and aspects healings, and I see all the essences of the aspect that comes back in over the rainbow bridge into the heart to assimilate and integrate, it's just amazing. It's just incredible. It's incredible for the person experiencing the integration of an aspect which has had so many lives in whatever conditioned state it's lived in, and then come back to integrate into oneness. So our journey really is a journey to oneness and unity consciousness.
It's crazy because I came home today and there was a rainbow right in front of my front yard, and I was like right as I was about to close the garage, I'm like, snap, and I got a picture, so I have proof.
Gorgeous.
So I was just like, sweet, and this is a wonderful feeling to think that, like, you know, you're putting this in front of me. I'm having the most powerful soul experience right now. I almost lost my train of thought, but I wanted to acknowledge this thing that it's like, yes, that makes sense. That rainbow is a reflection of the universal instant of light coming through to the planet. And I just want to come to the aid. I want to play devil's advocate again. I want to come to the aid of religions. I feel like humans did this on purpose. This was part of the plan. This was part of the hiding it. This was part of the planting of the seed, that humans were going to not corrupt this, but it was a massive technology for global expansion. Like, we needed to grow in population. And so religion comes in as a very powerful force bigger than the government that can, like, you know, inspire obedience in people. And it was a fairy tale, because I've looked at the Bible now. I'm like, there's numbers in it on like so many different levels. Just research it. It's nuts. It's crazy. All the text, the Hebrew text, the English text, the Quran, all of those stuff. It's got like an ancient fingerprint on it that
Yep.
required an evolution in order to raise to that level. And it's been around for a while. As you say, the disclosure happened a little while ago, but most of us are just like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, I have no idea. Like, you know, and for me, I'm like, no, every single like culture needed to have its own
Yep.
rise in or fall into darkness and rise
Yep.
from darkness. And we all share different areas of it, different cultures and different time zones. Everyone has their day in the light, I guess. But it makes me think again that we're some sort of fishbowl, and that there are other races of like intelligence that are coming and playing on the arcade of life, because we're clearly a computer program. Like, let me prove you your numbers. It's gonna like share with you that we're not even, we're just a fraction of the fractal. We're just like a roll of the dice, and how consciousness just decided to spill out in that one direction. And some of us are going to be part of the vine, and some of us are going to be part of the blossom, and some of us are going to feel like we just got a seed that like fell to the ground and never got a chance to you know, and there's different places for the pieces of the universe. But to think now that we're becoming aware and awaking to this, it's so super nuts. I'm like, I'm so blessed for this. This is like a one.
It's so
I'm
cool.
gonna read some more of these. So we're gonna say here, religion is part of the control systems that kept us small in prison. You don't need to go through religion, experience our divine essence. Bobby sessions have helped me open my imagination to the possibilities of how I can work with people online with energy work. Oh, Laura, absolutely. Marines, I agree. Religion is man-made. I just want to understand what they are so scared of. Okay, totally get the physical body can get in the way. It's so much easier to do work distance. Treherne's daughter's name is Constantine. And it was after the flood, and it's crazy. So throughout history, a lot of religion has a way to control the masses, and anything seen as other or not understood is taboo. Even science, as we know it today, was once super taboo. Even Jesus wasn't religious. Religious is man-made. So yeah, that's I guess we're preaching to the choir here. But cool. So people are gonna reach out to you. I promise you, you're gonna get a lot of open minds wanting to do this. I can't wait to work with you in a larger scale and a larger sense. I
Look
know
forward
that
to it.
my battery is gonna die, so we do have some more time, but I want to get like a conclusion or like a full-on topic or a really powerful message. Like, you've been waiting, you've been hiding. This is your premier experience, you know, like you're here to do something for people. And for some it's a small little business. For others, it's inspiring a light, and you're jump starting a light, and you're helping someone out of their you know, deep sleep. And you're about to awaken some seriously influential people, like myself included. I'm standing up being like, yo, wake me up. I need to wake up. I'm dealing with my past, and it's taken such a toll on me, and now I'm getting successful. I have a family, and I got to figure this out because I want to take it to the next level. And so I know when I need to get a mentor and like a value in that. So if you guys can take anything from this, I'm putting my trust in this woman for my soul and my path, the same way she has let me do for hers and her son. But it was a scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of thing. I would absolutely recommend you let this lady scratch your back. Whatever you got to do, like, make sure that you get a chance to work with her, because it's going to change your life. This is life changing, and this has changed the course of how I have conversations. And I'd like to think that this last little month has been a massive shift of letting go and some dynamic gateways, portals, whatever you want to call it. Everyone's going through this tension, and it's a break free. Some of us are going to break free sooner. Some of us are going to have a hard time breaking, and they may break free later. Some people, it's not even your time to break free. So I get that there's going to be a scope here, but I'm standing up with my friend being like, dude, this is I'm going to be this in like how many years. And when I'm in my third part of my life, I want to make sure that I can shine as a master the way that you are. And I appreciate you showing up as a piece of the universe for me to give me this light. And I'm so grateful that I even have you on my compass, because yes, we're going to do some powerful stuff. So please enlighten us one more time. Let me know, where do we go from here? Like, you know, what's the biggest message? What are you here to declare? How do you answer this?
So I guess I would answer it in exactly the message that I was given when I was 8, that the going through the cycle that this planet Earth has gone into, with all consciousness that is part of the planet and part of the cosmic universe, there is a reason why we are here right now, all of us. We all carry a particular frequency and signature that needs to evolve. So we are all here to evolve. How we find our pathway to that will be unique to us. What I do is one pathway. I feel very much like I'm an activator. I'm a soul activator. It's almost like I help you to turn that light on. Once the light comes on, a lot of stuff that has been sitting in the shadow will come forward. But I have a really strong message. No one here has created your despair. No one here has created your negative experiences. When I had a recent, actually it was up at the last Freedom Fest. It was with Matt Omo. We had a sound healing meditation. And my experience in that was I was actually, as my soul consciousness was taken through my darkness. And in my darkness, I got to the point of light. And when I got to that point of light, they said, you created it all. It was like a coming home. And you created it all. There was no good, no evil, no this, no that. You've created every part of your experience. And I thought, wow, that's fucking powerful. I can't believe that. Oh my God, it's like I was searching for some kind of confirmation, but the feeling in my soul as it awakened to that, like that's pure free will. That's not making decisions under a conditional state. That's like, you know, your essence coming in and saying, yep, this is what I'm going to create. But in order to actually go through all of that creation, you might have to go through 6,000, 7,000 years, or, you know, like if we were to explain it in linear. It was just so beautiful. So my message is to clear whatever is standing in your fear, you know, that's actually stopping you from activating your light fully. And then just shine. Just shine. You don't even have to do or say anything. You and I know when our vibration is peaking in those levels that are so high, we don't even have to use words. There's like this soul orgasm that happens in our physical bodies as the light actually it comes in through our crown, but it actually comes up from the earth, meets at the heart and just explodes. It's just so, and the rippling effect, that's what creates change. It's the rippling effect of that vibration that then turns into a manifestation of change. That's so beautiful. And we're so ready. We're so ready. So I'm looking forward to working with as many people that are ready to really, you know, to tackle that. And I'm happy to work with you at any level, but there are people here that are really ready. And I've just been waiting. I've been waiting.
Not waiting anymore. Not waiting anymore. You've taken the stage. You've said some pretty powerful things that cannot be unsaid. You've reprogrammed me in a way now that I will forever have this experience like ingrained into my brain, and people are going to have to feel this. And I'm feeling everybody watching this. I'm like, there's tears out there. There's like a motion of greatness. There's that overcoming of the fear that we have. Like I'm tuned in.
Yeah.
I'm seeing people who are reading and watching, and you guys are connecting with us at this digital campfire. And it's just such a wonderful blessing to be here. Like to think like I got a chance to activate you in some kind of cool way. Like this is I feel honored and blessed that I just ask you a bunch of questions and host your energy. Like, and it's such a profound experience for the people who are watching this. I hope that you guys take away something about yourselves that, you know, you are something else entirely. And if this message is for you, then you're going to hear it. And if it's not for you, then hey, it's, you know, it's for you.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. And I just again want to thank you so much, Bobby, for hosting me. It's been such a pleasure and really such an honor to meet you when I did. I knew the moment I saw you on stage, I just go, oh wow, like wow.
Soul family. I
No, well,
recognize you as
I
well.
do, because there are times when you meet people and you go, wow, what did we, like, what had to happen in the universe for these two souls to actually meet at this particular time? It's just
No.
crazy. It's, you know, like I could have seen the Facebook Live, you know, 2 months down, and it would have missed. But you and I, you know, at a soul level, decided we would meet when we did. And, you know, I signed up for your course, I think at the end of that speaking gig that you did. And I just go, I don't know why I'm doing it, but I'm going to do it because I love numerology. I have, yeah, you know, channeled my own vibes on that, but I really love the way you do numerology. Your gateway into numbers is so unique and so special that
Hey,
I
can you do
like.
something for me? I wanted to do this before we left. I got this done. Does this mean
Yeah,
anything to you?
I can't really see it very clearly, but I no, I would have to actually. I would need a copy of that to tune
I
into
want
it.
to send you one because people are saying some pretty weird things about me, and I feel like I'm catching up to my spiritual doorway that's allowing me this space. So you're most absolutely welcome. I didn't mean to interrupt. I wanted to make sure. It was super
No,
exciting. You're in his astrology. You look at my chart.
I'll have a look at your chart, but I'm much better just tuning into you.
Oh yeah, for sure. I get you. Well, it's fine. I guess that was
That
just the
that's
paperwork.
like that's easy. That's not work. That's just easy. That's, yeah, beautiful.
I guess because we're all looking for meaning, right? We all look to astrology,
Yeah.
we all look to numerology, we all want to find ourselves. Now you've got this new modality in my life, and it's going to give people a lot of awareness, right? And we're going to help a lot of people. But the same way there's like 1,000 different religions out there, I believe that there is going to be a multitude of gurus that are going to raise the vibration together. And
Mm,
you are definitely one of them, my good friend, my soul
mm.
family member for sure. One of the best things I've ever done in my life was have this conversation.
Well, thank you very much. Me too. I did see a change in religion. Maybe about 20 years ago. Someone passed a book on to me, and I read it, and it talked about all the different popes and blah blah blah. And when I got to the end of the book, which I was really like heartbroken, because of the state that it was in then, let alone what's come to the surface now. But I do also understand that there's a reason, you know, like there's a reason why things just get so chaotic before that stillness, before the eruption, you know, like it's going through the birthing canal, the contraction. So in the contraction is where all of our fears, our behaviors, the worst, what we would call the worst of our experiences, pop up, you know, in order to then release them. We do go through these stages of expansion and contraction. And in the expansive state, you may get glimpses and glimmers of the possibilities of your own future. Or, you know, if you tune into planetary consciousness, you'll get that. And in that moment, I was so contracted by the book that I read. I just dumped that when I just realized I used the word contract. And what I saw when I expanded in that consciousness was the future of a community uh, that was actually there for the people. It was run by people, and I believe that as time goes on, politicians will come back to being there to govern for the people, with the people, rather than. But we need to actually, you know, go through this contraction until finally the new birthing experience comes in again. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, super awesome.
Wow.
You are a mother to many. I would imagine that I need to respect your ancient wisdom here for a second. Like you're a teacher and a leader and a nourisher of the baby version of life. I've met your son. I know what type of a woman you are, and energetically speaking as well. I had to bond with you. I had to connect with you, and it's become very powerful for me to think that I have this as a leadership of woman in my life. And I felt like to be fair, I don't want to, and I love my mom. I love my grandmother and everything. They hold a power like this, but it shines its light from its religious aspect, which is the reason why I found the cord in the first place. So I know that I have that, but to have a teacher and a leader in that same female energy that can lead me and go through this, I think you're a giant relief for a lot of us who have gone through this, who felt like we were misplaced or felt like we're running outside of our awareness. And now that we're getting a chance to divine onto this, yeah, you're a mother to us all. So I absolutely am going to do what you say. I'm going to absolutely like open up my heart to heal that and expand that, because that's what I've been learning. And now that we get a chance to actually go through this, it's a very divine timing. So yes, you will absolutely see more of us, guys. We're going to go back into the think tank. We're going to go and brainstorm a series with brainstorming events. But now it's getting more serious, because now the universe is like, and it's like rapid fire hitting me with a list of all of the itinerary criteria, the planning, the logistics. And I'm like, I'm getting this download being like, oh my God, now I know how to do this. And I was like, okay, good. You're ready. You guys connected. The connection has been made. And like the machine starts. And I'm like, okay, so I put all these people in place. We're absolutely going to put something together for you guys. And yeah, it's going to be nuts. This is going to be
cool.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Okay, cool. So
very good.
Is there more? I'm really coming into the scrape of the bottle here. Like, is there anything left that we need to know? But I'm still hungry. Okay, fine. So what we'll do is we're going to go back to these ingredients again. I appreciate you guys and love you guys so much. Everyone that you've been able to do for me in my life, especially now for Francesca. You're going to be a little busy for a while, Francesca, okay? I promise you. Guys, reach out to her, have a consultation, follow this woman's, you're awakening now. And if you want to press snooze on this, and you're like, bye, I'm still sleeping, then enjoy your final dreams. You know what happens to me when I go back to bed? And I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I'm still tired. I have nightmares. I get punished by my soul, gives me a little smack on the face saying, you know what, you should be waking up and getting to the day. I'm like, when I'm lazy, I'm tired. And I actually have nightmares between like the last few hours of I'm sleeping. So if you're going to sleep on this, you may experience your universal self being like, fine, if you want to be unconscious for a little bit, you're going to get some more unconsciousness, and it's going to turn into more debt or more weird relationships, and you're going to lose
more discomfort.
Like more of the human story, okay? And maybe in a few years, you're going to see Bobby again, like the same way I did a few times with Balaj. And one time he said, hey, man, are you ready to wake up now? And I was like, oh, yeah, I got fired. I don't want to get fired anymore. I'm ready. And I came with my tail between my legs. I'm going to get started in business. I couldn't do it. And next thing you know, numerology came and plugged into me. And I was just like, and I felt like I was like, now I'm on this vortex beam moving forward, collecting my allies along the way. So thank you for playing a wonderful role inside of my heart and inside of my soul, my family. You've blessed my family in ways that you can only imagine. And you really turn on a light for me. So if you guys found value in this, drop a comment, reach out to her, give her a real shout out. Like really shout out to her and be like, dude, what you said had me in tears. What you said is like crazy. I need to do something. Let's go. And please reach out to this woman. I'm also here too. So if you haven't had your numerology, you gotta see me. Don't see her. I taught her. She knows. I know. I'm the numerologist. But I can't wait to connect with you guys again. And thank you so much once again, Francesca. Any last words?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I just really want to say thank you to everyone that's shared this space with us, because even though I can't see the comments or whatever, I can feel a lot of questions. So
let's go through them.
Well, if I was just going to say, if there's anything people do want to know or get some clarity, maybe just drop it into the comments and we can get back to them. It could actually turn into part of what we're going to do together. But I do know specifically we need to do some stuff on currency. I really, that's very strong. And then, but if people do have questions, yeah, please drop them in. If there's any you want to read out, I feel we're getting pretty done.
Well, the funny thing is that we're also speaking to the future, where people are going to see this on a higher level, and that more people are going to watch this on the replay. So there aren't many comments coming in other than powerful stuff and 1-2 things.
Right.
But the thing is, funny you should mention currency. I have 5% left on my phone. So it's funny because we need to feed money into our cell phones. We need to feed money into our internet connection, into our electricity bill, and all these things like Facebook. And I have to put money into clothes. So I have to pour money onto this. And it's funny that this cup is actually running dry right now. My phone energy is coming to its limit.
Yeah.
And so it's like a nice way of universe saying, okay, you've exhausted this. I appreciate you guys. Let's get back to work now.
I can feel it.
Like, Yeah, I can feel it too. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate everybody. Have a great night. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Francesca, I
Thank
love
you.
you and I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. We'll talk to you guys very